Welcome to our first episode of the Empower Podcast. We hold empowering conversations at the intersections of mental health, culture, and identity. Think of this as your opportunity to listen in on candid conversations with trusted administrators in higher ed while you're on the go. My name is Jessica, she, her pronouns, and I'm a Black, queer, able-bodied, cisgender woman who identifies as a first-gen college student and graduate and licensed psychologist in the Counseling Center. And I'll kick it over to my co-hosts.
Yes, I love that. My name is Dennis. I am using he, him, his pronouns. I'm a proud gay Puerto Rican man, originally from Connecticut, also a first-gen graduate, and now I serve as the Associate Director in Alana Services.
Hi, everybody. My name is Whitney. I am a millennial. Big ups to the millennials. I'm a Black cisgender woman. I am a proud born and raised Baltimorean. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I am also a first generation college student and graduate, so we're holding it down for the first gens. I'm a licensed psychologist, and I am also the Assistant Director for Social Justice in the Counseling Center.
All right, y'all. So since we have everyone introduced, let's give y'all the skinny on what Empower Podcast is all about. So in each episode, we're hoping to bring you all topics that are relevant to our lives as people of color, navigating a PWI and a campus environment in this day and age, in a 15-minute segment. All right, so we're keeping it brief. We'll wrap up with some action items and helpful tips that hopefully you can apply to your life to feel more empowered. So let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yes. January,
Yep.
New Year, new us.
Longest month.
Longest month,
Of the
right?
year
Right.
sometimes.
Yes. But I think an important month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever the calendar turns to a new month, a new year,
Mm-hmm.
that's when people start thinking about who they are,
Mm-hmm.
who they want to be, if they want to be anyone different,
Mm-hmm.
and what they hope to accomplish in this new year.
Absolutely. We all know about setting those resolutions.
Yes.
I know I came across some content not too long ago that said, like, within 2 weeks, people tend to fall off of those resolutions.
Yes, I saw it. It was like the second Friday or something. Like, they had it down to like an exact.
Yep.
And I was like, ooh, have I been to the gym? Did I already give up by that second Friday? You know, I was like, I read that article. But yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, there's a lot of energy there when the year first starts.
Right.
To redefine ourselves, set new goals. But yeah, keeping that momentum going can be really, really challenging.
Yeah. I think it's also really important too, and I'm seeing this being talked about more, so I love that. But, I think it's also really important to think about how all of that energy is happening at a time where, like, we probably have, like, the least amount of energy. Like, we have, like, we're still in the midst of the winter solstice, right? Like, we have the darkest days of the year.
Right.
I think if anybody's like me, you really just want to be like a little, like, blanket burrito. You just want to hibernate. And so sometimes it's also like a push and pull between all of this energy to, like, reevaluate and to, like, reset and to, like, renew, and, like, this, like, we're part of the natural world, right? So we're also still contending with the fact that in nature, this is still like a time of, like, hibernation and slowness. And so it's like you're kind of battling between both of those, which makes me, it's like, it makes sense that we only getting up to 2 weeks before we're not in the gym anymore. Okay, it's still dark out. I'm still tired. It's hard to get up at 4 a.m.
For real.
Right.
For real.
Yeah. And I also think, too, like, the environmental factors you named are so real and so valid. But then while we're trying to think of ways to change and reevaluate, like, there's major change happening around us, right? When we think of, like, a new administration, new executive orders, new laws, right? Like, in some ways it's hard. We want to focus on changing things and reevaluating and goals and resolutions, but then we're also trying to keep up with, like, all of the change that's happening around us, that's impacting us in different ways, that can then contribute to, like, the tiredness,
Yes.
the wanting to be the burrito,
Yep.
the hibernation, you know,
Yes.
because it's like it's coming at us
So
in all
much.
directions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you mentioning the changing of administrations, the changing of tides, because yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. And the exhaustion that comes with it, because that's very real. I can say this past month, I do feel like I've heard a lot of students coming in and sharing about just feeling kind of like it's hard to get back into the swing of things,
Right.
I haven't found my groove yet. And I think that speaks to just some of the disorientation that's happening. Because not only is the world telling us reset, restart, begin anew, but then you have that juxtaposed against, again, a socio-political climate that is not necessarily leaning towards or benefiting communities of color across our country. And how do you grapple with that?
Yeah. And the information is in such an onslaught that it is
Right.
exhausting. It's dizzying at times. And yeah, that really makes it hard to. I found that even if I have all these ideas and these grand plans, it sometimes makes it hard to like move. So to get to the action part, because I'm like, oh yeah, I've done all this envisioning, but then it's just like, oh, where do I start? When it just feels like both from a socio-political climate, but also like a nature-based climate, like I'm exhausted.
That like, it's one thing. I think a lot of people are big on like vision boards and writing out goals, writing out resolutions. And I think it's one thing to do that. And then it's a completely different thing to now make that list come to life.
Yes.
And to start this process of like, if it is indeed a new year, a new us, how are we going to go about accomplishing these things and getting it done despite everything else around us?
Yes. And I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. But I think one of the things that's been really helpful is to like have some of these conversations in community, and whether that's like on campus or whether that's just like making sure that when I'm on the phone with friends or family, like we're checking in around like, yeah, what are some of the things that, yeah, you have been doing that I should know about? Like, what are some of the things that, like, so my friends know to ask me and encourage me around finding writing opportunities, whether they be workshops or like listening series, because I love to write and that's something I want to get back into, but I can get in my own way or I can get stuck. And so I was just on the phone with my friend the other night and she was like, so come on, like, have you found another workshop? Like, I know you went to the one, it was good. So, I think being able to share these needs and community can be so helpful, just from an inspiring point of view, but also from a logistical point of view. Like, if I'm accountable to somebody, then I'm going to do it. I'm not going to couch burrito if I'm supposed to meet up with my friends to go to a workshop.
Right,
or it just
right.
makes it more energizing to do it. So I think that's one of the things that's been helpful in terms of how do I create these small opportunities to move what's in my head into action in a way that feels value centered. So it's not just like I'm checking off boxes, but like I really genuinely want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say in addition to that accountability piece, awareness, right? And what I'm really talking about is self-awareness. So one of my personal goals, y'all, I am going to take some swim lessons. I am that person that does not know how to be in water.
Right. I was like, you're in good company. The stats are there. The research is there.
It's there. I should come with you.
Well,
accountability. Swim buddies.
We'll go together.
Accountability,
right.
the awareness,
Yes.
right? While this is a goal of mine, and I definitely want to get to it in 2025, January has not been the month, right? So
Right.
acknowledging, yes, I have these ideas, I have this vision, I have this plan, I've done the research, and I can put that plan in action when it is more convenient and conducive to supporting my wellness as opposed to stressing me out more.
Yes.
Right? So making the change, but making it when it's fitting for you.
Yes.
Yes. And I was actually going to say, I think a lot of times we get caught up in the new year, new me, and we think it's just like this one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
Like everyone is going to have the same goals or everyone's going to go about it the same way. So I think your point is so important. It's like you have to do it in a way that works for you at your time and in a way that you're comfortable. And it's also okay if things don't go right. Or if you say, I'm going to start January 31st and it's February 15th and you haven't started, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, You can start when you're ready.
Yeah.
And at your pace, in your own way, shape, and form.
Yes.
And I love that.
I love that too. I'm super cheesy, so I've been saying New Year, more me. Because I'm like, it's not that I'm trying to do something. And I think that's also, like, sometimes is that we have so much emphasis on, like, the new. Like, everything's changing.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, for most of it, it is just like, I just want to get back to me. Or I want to center me more. Or I want to, it's almost like a recalibration as opposed to, like, everything's new. Even if the thing you're trying out is, like, so, like, going to the workshops are new, but the love of writing isn't. That's getting closer and more connected to me, right? And so that's been helping me to also not be overwhelmed by the, like, oh my gosh, like, I have to do it exactly right or exactly on time. This is an extension of a you that already exists, and we're just talking about how can you recalibrate and really create some intention around the things. And I love what you said, Jessica. And that intention, it could be thinking about it now, but knowing I'm not getting in nobody's pool till May.
Right.
And that's okay.
For sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I'm loving this energy, y'all, and wondering if this is a good time to transition into our takeaway tips, our empower tips for this episode. All right. And I can kick us off. Right. So I think oftentimes when people, again, think about the new year, I love what you just said, Whitney, new year, more me, right? How we can become more of ourselves. It's also acknowledging that new you, more you doesn't have to mean adding something. Maybe you're subtracting something. Right? So embracing endings and acknowledging that can be a new beginning. Right? And a new way to start the year off right, start the month off right, start it midweek. It doesn't matter when you start, right? But thinking about ways that we might be able to eliminate or just be intentional about the things that we're engaging in and find ways to protect our energy and time as well. So maybe cutting some things off, cutting some people off, but embracing endings as well as beginnings.
Yeah, I love that. Yes. So deep.
I know.
Jessica.
I know. I want to like
snap. Love. I'm like, I don't even want to follow with my little empower takeaway tip. I'm like, oh Lord, let me re-edit. Right, let me think. But I will say, similar to something that you have mentioned, Whitney, I think a lot of times people also feel the pressure to change something, to set a goal or resolution. And I'm here to say it's okay if you don't feel like you need to be a new version of yourself. It's okay if you feel like you're in a good place. There's nothing you want to change. You're confident in who you are. So if that's you, don't feel the pressure to get caught up in the new year, new us. But if that isn't you and there is something that you're looking to change, I would just say, it doesn't have to be enormous.
Yeah.
Like really take your time, really think about it, and also really seek out the people or resources that can help you as you work towards this change.
Yeah. Oh, I love that too. That's so important. Yeah, I mean, I love everything y'all said. I think the only thing I would add is just, I think because we are all swimming in this water that has so much uncertainty and it feels like so many things are outside of our control. There's so many environmental pieces from like a national and international geographic standpoint that it can be hard to make change. And so whatever you do, connecting it to something that you value. So really, and I think, that speaks back to what you're talking about, Jessica, which is that like reflection piece, that awareness piece. Like, what is the value in this, right? And like the true value for you, not I'm going to the gym to reach some goal that is externally derived to fit into some status quo and I'm miserable. But like I get to go to the gym because I want to feel stronger in my body. I want to be able to walk X amount of miles and like that will bring me joy, right? Absolutely. Like so, and I'm just using the gym as an example, but whatever it is, connect it to something that you love because that will anchor you through the things. That's what gets me off the couch is, all right, I love it, so I'm going to move towards it.
Yeah, absolutely. Love.
This is beautiful, y'all.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Again, this is our pilot episode of the Empowered Podcast. We hope you all join us next time. Take care, be well, and stay empowered.